Good Friday from Pooley Mag TV. The Raw, as you can see, the unedited, unscripted NUFC fan channel where everybody's got an opinion and nobody's opinion's wrong. It's not looking too great out there today, but I'm going to enjoy my Good Friday anyway. A nice day off work. Hope everybody else does. As you know, I'm not bothered what I'm wearing. I'll make a video wearing anything. So today, this morning, I'm going to bring my reaction, not to Newcastle for once, but to Manchester United. Now, Manchester United fans this morning will probably be a little bit rough, celebrating, as you would if you just got into the Europa League semi-final, but Christ almighty, didn't they make that hard work? They are a bad team, Manchester United, To be 2-0 up and 4-2 up on aggregate at home to Lyon, who then go down to 10 men, by the way, which was never a red card. He didn't touch him. Lenny Yoro doing the old diving, thinking he's in the swimming baths, and the referee, because it's Manchester United at Old Trafford, sends him off. Now, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I know for a fine fact, Manchester United, even to this day, when they're shite, still get more decisions than most clubs. And they was definitely going to get something to claw them back into that match, or for them to win that match. Moving on to their penalty later. So the 2-2. Tolisso gets sent off, which was never a sending off. Even the commentators, who were all Man U, by the way, said it wasn't a sending off. So that tells you something, doesn't it? When a pro-Manchester United commentary team tells you that Tolisso should never have been sent off, believe me, he should never have been sent off. They go in extra time then, and you're thinking, right, okay, Manchester United, they're going to take control of this game. They go 4-2 down to 10 men Lyon, who was 6th in the French league. This isn't the Lyon who had Janino and all them other great players that they had, like Fred and Janino, and won 7 French leagues in a row, whatever it was. This is a bog standard, average Lyon team. And you're going 4-2 down at home to a 10-man French team who were 6th in their league. That is bad. That is bad. And that prompted me to make my last short, laughing at Manchester United. Now, that may have bit me on the arse a little bit, because obviously Manchester United went on to get a dubious penalty, which they were always going to get. He was never knocking that penalty back, by the way, because there was still 10 minutes left on the clock, and they knew they were adding 5 or 6 minutes on, and they wanted anything for Manchester United to go through. The Europa League needs Manchester United to go through. The Europa League doesn't want teams like Lyon in the semi-final over Manchester United. Believe me, football is a business. Believe me, it is a business. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but if they could try and help a team like Manchester United, who's going to draw bigger numbers than a Lyon, believe me, they're going to try and help Manchester United. And believe me, they did help Manchester United once again last night. And then the penalties dispatched. Don't get me wrong, after that, Kobe Mainoo scores a really good goal, and Slabhead at the back stick, prompts it in, and the commentary team jubilant and cream their pants in unison, But that is a terrible, terrible Manchester United team. They're 14th in the league. You're 2-0 up, and you go 4-2 down to a 10-man Lyon team. Not 10-man PSG team or a 10-man Barcelona team, a 10-man Lyon team, and you're going 4-2 down. And you have to get back into the game with a dubious penalty. Yes, you might be ecstatic in the moment, but let's dissect that game. Who's going to want to play? Who's going to be scared to play, Manchester United? Nobody. Nobody's going to be scared to play them. Now, knowing Manchester United and knowing how lucky the bastards are, they'll probably go on to win the Europa League. Pardon me there, I've just had my breakfast. I do apologise. I know I belch because sometimes I do have an ulcer. You know, so I do apologise if I do get a little bit thingy like that on some of the videos. I know it might be off-putting to some people, but I can't help it at the minute. It is getting dealt with by the doctors, so I do apologise if I do get a little bit, you know, a little bit belchy. I don't mean to do that. If it's off-putting, I do apologise. But anyway, back to the shower of shit that is Manchester United. You know, they are a terrible team. But knowing them, they'll go on to win and get into the Champions League next season. You know, and I just don't get how a team like that can get to a semi-final of any tournament. It shows you the level, doesn't it? It shows you the level of the Europa League. Now that the Champions League's got even more teams in it, they're probably taken more better teams out of the Europa League. It shows you the level of the Europa League. Tottenham, dog shit. Manchester United, dog shit. Bodo Glimt, well away. And Athletic Bilbao, they're not a bad team, are they? But is that, you know, I remember when the UEFA Cup would have had the likes of a proper quality Lazio and a quality Juventus, and Bayern Munich would have been in the UEFA Cup if they'd have had a dodgy season in the Bundesliga, with still a quality team. You know, the UEFA Cup used to have Barcelona and Atletico Madrid in it. You know, all them quality teams, even when Celtic were really good. You know, Sevilla, they had quality teams. You used to see Juventus lift it. Galatasaray, when they were awesome. Arsenal got to the final. Liverpool were in it. You know, it had some proper quality teams, and sometimes the UEFA Cup was better than the Champions League. Don't get that one twisted either. Sometimes the UEFA Cup was harder and better to win than the Champions League when I was growing up. And now you've got Bodo Glimt and two bottom half Premier League teams and Athletic Bilbao in it. I hope spinning this back round to Newcastle, I hope Newcastle don't enter that tournament. If we entered it, we'd win it, I think. But I hope we don't enter that tournament, because you're versing nobodies, aren't you? It's not a prestigious tournament anymore. You know, it's not the tournament it used to be. It's not the tournament where there's still big guns. Because the Champions League used to only be top two when I was a kid. Hence why it was called the Champions League. And then it was the champions and runner-up, and now it's fucking champions and whoever else. You know what I mean? It's champions and whoever's got a big name, and the champions of half the countries aren't even allowed in it. You know what I mean? So that's where we are with that. But the Europa League is terrible, isn't it? That Conference League is even worse. That Conference League, you've never even heard of 95% of the teams in that Conference League. That is a joke tournament. Don't get me wrong, I'd be bopping them, jumping up and down if we won it. But it's a joke tournament. And the Europa League, unfortunately, is becoming a bit of a joke tournament. They're putting all their eggs into the Champions League now, aren't they, UEFA? They're putting all the eggs in. Before long, the Champions League will have every team who qualifies for Europe in it. And you won't even have the Conference League and the Europa League. That's the way it's going. The Europa League is dreadful. If 14th and 15th in the Premier League can be in the semi-finals of the Europa League, then that just shows you how far that tournament's fallen. Now, don't get me wrong, you can always have a poor season, you know, and you always get one team who does rubbish in the league but does all right in Europe. But to have two really diabolical teams and all, because Tottenham are rubbish, aren't they? Tottenham are absolutely shite. You know what I mean? They're one of the worst teams I've seen in the league this season. And it's only because we've got even shiter teams in the bottom three that Tottenham and Manchester United are in a relegation battle. So that shows you how poor the Europa League is. You know, and well done Manchester United last night for a dubious penalty, a red card that should never have been a red card, and struggling to beat a 10-man Lyon team who was sixth in the French league. Anyway, that's my rant about Manchester United. I'll be bringing some more content about the Tomb and the Black and White Army later on today. So enjoy your Good Friday, folks. Enjoy your rest of your day. Keep it black and white and keep it Pooley Mag TV. Over and out.